In 1946, a photograph at Rockaway Beach, New York, freezes a simple, revealing moment. In the image, the sand stretches like a pale carpet, guiding the eye to the Atlantic, where sky and sea meet. There's no pose, just people and summer, the rhythm of a city by the water, capturing habits, moods, and the feel of that post-war time. In the 1970s, a young woman was chosen to front a striking Hang Ten ad. In the image, she appears light and effortless, conveying the sense of freedom that drove the era. Her easygoing vibe, the cut of the clothes, and her confident posture create a portrait that connects fashion, youth, and the beach, translating the spirit of that period in a single shot. In 1902, a young Victorian woman posed for posterity. Her portrait captures a world far from ours. Measured gestures, silence as a virtue, clothing and posture guided by precise rules. In her are condensed the rigid morals and etiquette that shaped the Victorian era. Controlled elegance, everyday discipline, a promise of order in times of change. In 1969, employees at a Kmart in the United States paused their shift to follow a feat that united the country: the arrival of man on the moon. On the Apollo 11 mission, NASA took Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin to the lunar surface, and that team in front of the TV watched live as a step forever changed the history of human exploration. In the 1950s, Hollywood saw two names take center stage: Clark Gable and Mamie Van Doren. On different paths, he already established, she on the rise, both helped shape the so-called Golden Age. Between dramas and daring choices, their careers show how that cinema defined the tastes and imagination of a decade in the US and around the world. In 1956, an unlikely scene was caught on camera. Henry Behrens, then known as the world's shortest man, appears dancing with his cat. The moment, simple and spontaneous, reveals an affectionate bond between the two. The photograph reminds us that everyday delicacy fits in small gestures and can turn ordinary instants into unforgettable memory. Mildred Burke paved the way for women's pro wrestling. In the 1930s, she turned stages and crowds into proof that the sport was hers too. Her path brings together discipline, technique, and boldness. In 1935, she truly began to shine in the ring, challenging rivals and expectations, and established herself as a touchstone that would inspire generations. Marpesa Dawn, a Trinidadian-American actress and singer, rose to prominence in the 1960s in film and theater. Born on January 3, 1934, in Trinidad and Tobago, she built a path that opened doors for other Black women. Her presence in international productions helped broaden visibility and diversify faces in Hollywood. In 1902, Theodore Roosevelt, then early in his presidency, came across a blue macaw. The encounter became a symbol of a time when wildlife seemed inexhaustible. Today, the species has vanished in the wild, and that scene echoes as a warning. Human choices shape destinies, including those of birds that once flew free across the Americas. Robert Wadlow, the giant of Alton, made history as the tallest man ever recorded. His unusual height drew attention early and shaped his routine between challenges and discoveries. Even after his death, accounts, photos, and memories keep alive the curiosity about who he was and how he lived, inviting new generations to revisit his legacy. On July 4, 1950, a couple dug a refuge in the sand at Santa Monica and curled up there, away from the beach's bustle. In that simple shelter, the world seemed to shrink. Laughter in the distance, the steady sea, time suspended. It was an intimate portrait of an America that in the post-war years was learning to celebrate the everyday with lightness and new promises. In April 1933, London staged a curious demonstration, showing in front of the public that its double-decker buses wouldn't tip over on curves. The model, a city symbol, faced skepticism. To ease the fear, controlled tests revealed limits of tilt and braking, seeking to confirm that engineering underpinned daily life on the streets. In the 1970s, the Japanese pop duo Pink Lady became a craze and took over the charts with hits and high-energy performances. Formed by Mia, Mitsuyo Nemoto, and Keiko Masuda, they stood out not only for their songs but also for their very short shorts, a signature look that helped define their stage identity and cemented the group as a style and entertainment reference. Around 1961, Tarita Teripaya from French Polynesia gained worldwide attention by playing a role in Mutiny on the Bounty, released in 1962. Directed by Louis Milestone, the feature revisits the 1789 rebellion on the HMS Bounty and brought the actress to an international audience, linking her story to the waves that shaped that episode. 1955, Venice. In the Lagoon City, Sophia Loren appears beside her sister, Maria Ciccoloni, in a shot that needs no pose, a moment of closeness. The photo, simple and direct, reveals the strength of her presence and foreshadows the path that would make her a global film icon while preserving the quiet glow of a family bond. In 1974, Tim Curry and Diana Ross were living through pivotal turns. Without sharing a stage or a studio, they moved through the same world of spotlights. He was cementing his presence as an impactful actor. She, already established, was taking new steps in music and film. It wasn't a collaboration, but the year marked them both and echoed in the next phases of their careers. Around 1969, Anita Pallenberg was emerging as a striking presence on the cultural scene. Actress, model, and style maker, she projected a bold look and influenced those around her. Her connection with the Rolling Stones put her under the spotlight, and her romance with Keith Richards reinforced her image as a restless, decisive muse of the time at the height of rock. In 1955, Salvador Dali was already at the center of attention in art. Born in 1904 in Figueres, Spain, he followed a path that placed him among the most influential surrealists of the 20th century. His inventive, striking canvases, together with an unmistakable style and provocative behavior, made his name a synonym for boldness. In 1990, Patricia Arquette and Corey Haim shared the screen in Oração dos Rollerboys, Prayer of the Rollerboys. Directed by Rick King, the film blends science fiction and action to tell a dystopian story set in a collapsing future. Arquette plays Casey, a key figure who drives the conflicts and keeps the tension up to the end. When Steve McQueen crossed paths with Jane Mansfield in the early 1960s, the room seemed to hold its breath. He, with an aura of risk and quiet. She, a presence that turned heads. One look was enough to set up complicity in a contest. Who was watching whom? In that brief encounter, Hollywood saw itself reflected. Glamour, magnetism, and the promise of stories too big for the screen. In March 1971, the Ideal Home exhibition at Olympia in London showcased Raleigh's chopper radio telephone. The presentation mixed pedal fever with curiosity about mobile communication, showing the bicycle as a stage for urban experiments and foreshadowing the blend of mobility, style, and technology that would mark the decade. In 1942, on the set of Twin Beds, Margaret Hamilton had a singular reunion. The dog Toto, her partner from The Wizard of Oz. Known as the Wicked Witch of the West in the 1939 classic, she saw a living piece of her own history. Between cameras and blocking marks, past and present touch for a moment, a brief nod to a film that would go on delighting generations. In 1949, a photo captures Marlon Brando with his dog, a rare breather away from the spotlight. The moment, simple, shows the actor before his peak. Soon would come A Streetcar Named Desire, and years later, The Godfather. The image links everyday intimacy to the start of a career that would change theater and film, a sign of the reach that would come after. In the 1970s, Don Knotts, forever Barney Fife on The Andy Griffith Show, turns up in an unlikely scene. Trackside, tuned in to racing tips. The meeting of the comedian and the racetrack gives the moment a light tone, where technique becomes story and the audience follows with a smile. The photo records the contrast between track and stage, simple and direct. In 1989, a production was born that would change cinema. Tim Burton's Batman. Michael Keaton took up the mantle of Bruce Wayne, while Jack Nicholson embodied the Joker. By blending a dark tone with popular appeal, the DC adaptation redefined the genre and paved the way for the modern era of superheroes, showing that heroes could take center stage at the box office. At the party that marked the end of filming on the original Godzilla 1954, cast and crew toasted not only a wrapped project, but the birth of a landmark of Japanese cinema. Under Ishiro Honda's direction, the set was saying goodbye as the world received a new cultural symbol, the monster that would span generations. The roar began there,